Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to do some AI, and I wanted to do, I think I'm going to start with the zombie one. The only reason for that really is because a basic zombie one, they're fast and they're easy to do, they're high performance, and because we don't have a controller yet, like I want to build a player, I can kind of build the player and the zombie, and the video won't be too long. Where if I was doing, say, an animal AI with some advanced stuff, it'll take a little longer, a little more in depth. And I want to make sure I build a controller because I want to have the AI be able to attack and hurt the player, and I want the player to be able to attack and hurt the zombie. Right? I don't want to just make the AI and say, hey, there you go, off you go, right? So, very first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the camera and I'm going to dump it into the player. And I'm just going to zero off everything. And then just adjust it a tiny bit. And maybe I'll just move the camera out a tiny bit. Oh no, you know what? I really should just keep it at 0. And he's on the player layer. I'm gonna, just in case, I don't want things to clip, right? And if I go like this, I mean, you might catch pieces, but he doesn't need to see the player. I'm gonna just take that out. All right, so this is just gonna have, actually, well, I'll just put it on here. I'll put it all in here. Just a simple controller, nothing too crazy. Get axis vector. All right, we're gonna do V relative to the camera, and simple move, you know, a speed of, I don't know, say 3.5, space self, and V. And then I'm also going to use a mouse look 2 on main camera. We'll go 3, -3, and I'm just going to put these at on. They might give you errors. If not, great. If so, who cares? That should be it. If I hit play, we should have just a very simple, you know, it would help if I put a character controller. I'm going to get rid of the capsule and put a character controller on here. There we go. That will make it so I can actually move. All right. There we go. Very simple. All right, and we want a way to shoot. Okay, so at the beginning of this one, I also want to, because this will drive me nuts if I don't, hide and lock and move to the top. Don't put it to every frame. You don't need to do that. That's silly. Okay, let's we'll have a Decal Manager. Do I have Pooler in here? Let's check if we have Pooler. Pool. Yeah, I do have Pooler. Okay, so we need some pools. We need blood. And let's see if I have a nice blood prefab. Perfect. That will do just fine. And where is he? Alright, I have some stuff in here. So I'm going to use this guy here, Decal Manager. Take that blood. Name of the pool, it will be blood. 20 is fine. Let's do, what else? Let's do an impact. Let's just do a basic impact. I'm just going to copy that. It's already at the top. I don't know why I'd do that. And let's call this one impact. I'm not going to make a whole bunch of different ones, but you very well can, and I'll show you how we do that. Impact dirt. Let's use that one. Okay, so on both these things, these also need add FSM. They also are going to need a way to deactivate. So let's just wait. You know, I don't know, 3 seconds. 2 would probably do fine, but whatever. Pooler destroy self. That's it. I'm just going to copy that one, save it, go out here, go back to this guy, go to the impact dirt, and just paste component as new. So now he has it. Alright, so we have the Decal Manager and we have Pooler on it. So the other thing we need now is a way to shoot. And we need a health. Right, we want health. And just for visual effects, let's put in let's do a slider health bar. Slider, let's make sure he is on scale with screen size. Get rid of the handle. Background can be anything. I'm going to go with a darker red, I think. Fill area fill. Let's go with a green maybe. And slider. 2D, and I don't like these widths here. So make sure that those are zeros. There we go. And I'll use whole numbers, give it a max value of maybe 50. There we go. So this, let's move it up. I don't know, we'll put it up here. There's our health bar. Better rename it. Health bar. Right, so here, we're going to need a state eventually where we have a variable of health. And it will we'll default it to 50. But anyways, in this state, whenever we hit this state, we want to UI set value to health. Not every frame, just once. Right, so there's that. Now, the other thing we're going to want is, let's come out of 2D. So the camera, you see how it's sitting there? Now there's a few different ways you could do this. Oh, geez. One way is you put in we'll even say a box collider, and just kind of make it a lot smaller. And let's give this a rigid body and kinematic. So in the health, right, so this is going to be an update UI, and this will say death. So what is death? Dun dun dun. Let's change tag. Let's do it by tag. You can do bool, layer, tag. There's piles of different ways to do this. So we're going to set tag of the owner to dead. We are also going to get this. We want to use gravity to true. Physics is kinematic. Nope. Set is kinematic to false. So when we die, the camera's going to fall, more or less. It's going to look like the player's falling over, right? so that's death. Now we also want another one, just going to be hurt. We'll stick it there. And how do we want to do hurt? I don't know if I have anything, but let's see. Panel. Do we have some sort of blood effect that we can flash on the screen? Any kind of splash, liquid style thing will do. Even something like that, maybe. Just hoping for something a little more central. Let's see. Blood. Can't find blood. Alright, so this one will do just fine then. But I'm going to turn it obviously to some sort of red. A little darker. And the alpha I am going to bring down and out. It's not the greatest effect, but it will work. And this thing is going to get an FSM of its own, because we don't want to just flash it on. We want to put a little bit of effect to it. Blood. Right, so we're gonna say, okay, if you get blood, we want to interpolate a blood value to 1 over, pretty quick, 0.25, store as blood value, and at the same time we want to be setting this color, make sure that's red, to blood value every frame. Now once this is done, let's put a weight. I'll call it weight just because, and then we'll just do a weight for 1 second's probably fine, doesn't need to be long. Make sure to fill this part in, and then we're going to do the same thing, copy, paste, only now we want to go to 0, but over a much longer period of time, like 0.75. When it's done, let's do weight so we're not constantly setting the UI. There we go. So the player in the hurt, let's call this send event blood. And you know what? Let's also do that on death as well. Okay. So if we get an event called damage, not blood, called damage, we know we want to have some sort of value, so we're going to get an int. And there's a pile of different things that you could bring into this. I'm not going to do that right now. Int subtract. If you don't have int subtract, you can multiply it by -1 and then add it. But int subtract is on ecosystem. So we're going to subtract health to buyer damage. Int compare. Move to the bottom. And health. If our health is 0, we are dead. If it's less than 0, we are dead. If it's greater than 0, we are alive. Dead, alive. So if we're alive, we're hurt. If we're dead, we're dead. So the other thing we want to do is enable FSM we don't want to be able to move anymore. So let's disable that. And let's go here. We want to update the UI regardless of what happens. Right, and what else we do? We should be able to do a let's see if I can do this one here. No, can't do that there. Add F. Whoa, what did I just add? No, we don't want that. We want an FSM. Let's do a shake. Always good to have little things like this. Game object shake. And it doesn't need to be a great deal. Rotation amount. This is, you want this pretty low. All right, like 0.05 is probably lots. You know, in timeline, you don't want a whole lot either. Even that's probably too long, but we'll test it. We'll see. So on the hurt, we also want to send an event down to this guy. To shake. All right, so there we have it. Now let's just test our self by creating this, and on start, let's set event data with an integer. Let's give it 25 and send event. And you don't have to copy this thing. This is just a test so you guys can see. We're going to send it to the player. Health and damage. Now for this, because of the way I'm testing it, I am actually going to disable this guy for a second. Make sure we're not on. Oh, whoops, I started with it on. Right, so that's kind of how that looks. So, okay, let's turn that off. So we can see that a little better. So we hit it. Kind of flashes up. It kind of flashes up, I think, a little slow. You could do a fair bit more with that, I think. I mean, I'm not going to worry about it that much, I don't think. But I am going to go with a 0.75, not to a full 1. And I'm going to go to a 0.1 on the speed up. And bring this down. And I'm going to take this down. I think that would probably look a little better. Just so it's not a solid red. Right. It's not the greatest blood effect for the image, but it works. It gets the idea that we've been hit. Okay, so he was just for testing. Let's get rid of that. And the fall and all that worked pretty good. So now we have a player and we can move around and we can take damage. We need a way to hurt things. So let's do a shoot. And in our canvas, I'm actually just going to add a image right in the middle. And let's give it some sort of circular cursor or something. The indicators selected. Could be shoot control. We can do something like that. That's probably just fine. And then I'll bring that down. I'm going to scale that down. It just gives us kind of an idea of where we're actually looking. So in the move, let's now turn this back on. In the shoot, let's get mouse button down. Left, we have shot. We go over and we will raycast. Raycast. Do I have raycast? I do have raycast 2. Raycast 2. So we'll shoot at a distance of 100 is probably fine. You can go up on that. From our camera, direction Z, distance 100, and we hit something, and if we don't hit something, miss, we hit, what do we hit? Let's, all right, so, okay, one of the things, we need to look at a couple different things here. We need to say, okay, our terrain, if we're going to use layer default, that's fine. It's probably better if you use default for maybe some other things, but have a like ground, right? So in here, and then the other thing we're going to want is we're going to want another layer, and this is going to be AI, for example. And we also have a character, which we'll probably use both of those. Okay, we'll see. So in here, we only want to hit ground, and AI. There we go. So we stored did hit object, our hit object. Oh, god damn it. Sorry, that is a bool. We don't care about the bool. We care about the actual object. I messed that up. The hit point and the hit normal. All right, now that we hit something, we can get tag, and there's numerous ways you can do this as well, of our hit object, and this is our hit object tag. So then we can do a string compare switch. Let's do compares. We're only going to have really, we want another tag. So what's our AI tag going to be that we can hit? Right? We haven't. That we don't have an AI. So let's call this limb. And if that's equal, we're going to send damage. If it's not equal, then we are going to send normal hit. Right, so send damage, send normal hit. So what is a normal hit? We want to A, pooler, spawn, I forget the name of our pools. I know one was blood. Impact. Oh, okay. Right, so we want to do an impact. And we're going to spawn at hit point. The rotation, I tend to do something else. Created effect. And let's do a look. Quaternion look rotation. So the direction we want to look is the normal. The up vector is y1. Result is rotation result. Not every frame, we just need it the once. And see, he doesn't have this rotation, right? So now I can set rotation. Make sure this is done after. Move to the bottom of the created effect to rotation result, world, finish, and go back. You could also reduce ammo or whatever you're doing. Right, now the send damage is actually going to be a very similar thing. So let's copy that. The only difference is we don't want impact, we want blood. The rest of that's fine. So let's just move on. Let's just keep that to the effect, and let's do this one for the damage. Let's do a random int. I don't know, we'll say 5 to 15. Our damage. Now, if they have a limb, we could get a multiplier. I would almost think I should put that in because it's very cool. It's a very good effect, and it's easy to do. Right, so we're going to have a hit object. So, not that we have the FSM yet, but let's get FSM int. So on the limb we're hitting, which is going to be the hit object, let's have a health script with a variable called multiply, and that'll be the multiplier. Now let's int operator. Move to the bottom. Actually, let's close this guy down a little bit so he's not quite as big. Let's take our damage and take the multiplier and multiply them and get modified damage. Now let's set event int data. Move that to the bottom with the modified damage, and then let's get root of the hit object, enemy root. This can actually probably go to the top, and let's send event. Move to the bottom to the enemy root, and it will have also a health FSM. We're going to send why is my damage not here? Global event, there it is, damage. So we're going to set our event and send it off, and then we're going to come back here. So to give you an idea of how that will work, well, I guess we got to build the AI anyway, so I'll just do that. I guess it's no point. But let's test. Let's see if we have the normal impacts done. Right, so we shoot, nothing's happening, but I shoot down here, and we have apparently a whole whack of impacts. Okay, so those are on a looping cycle. So let's fix that. The impact. The impact, not looping. Should probably go into it because it probably has children such as that. We don't want that to loop either. Okay, done and done. There we go. So the AI now that we have that, let's save. We have the player. Everything is good. So the first one we want to do, like I said, is going to be a basic zombie. So let's just go over and grab a zombie. This guy will do just fine. And he doesn't have anything. Actually, let's use root motion. So we need health. Right? We've already stated we want health. And in the health, he's going to have the event called damage. Right? That's a given. But on his limbs, and also here's another tip: if you're not using this stuff, get rid of it. It will actually boost your performance just that little bit, especially when you got a whole whack of these, hundreds of them. If you're not using the skin mesh, I'm going to keep those just in case we want to add some randomness to it. So the easiest way, well, I mean, you could set up ragdoll. I'm just going to add capsule collider, right? And let's go, 0.5, 0.1. Put that on the x-axis, 0.08. Take the upper legs, do the same thing, x-axis, 0.4, 0.1. It's probably good enough. Spine, head. We can do a sphere, or we can do a capsule. I'll do a sphere. Let's mix it up a bit. Obviously, that's way too big. There we go. And we'll do the arms. Let's do a capsule. X 0.056, 0.4, 0.25, 0.3, and shoulders. Add capsule X 0.1 and 0.3. Alright, and we're going to need to adjust to those, but that's not a big deal. I'm going to add another capsule collider here. 0.5, 0.2. You can also go on the X. There's kind of a main body, right? So if you look at them all, things are up a little high, right? So we can easily shift these down, right? 0.1. This guy, 0.15 maybe. Yeah, let's make this longer. Something like that. He almost seems a little on the thick side though, eh? I think so. So the elbow, let's make that 0.4, move him down 0.2. That looks better. Alright, so we'll do the same thing on the other side. You know what, I'm actually just going to copy this. I'll have to go the other way, but right, because he goes up this way, so we need to make this a negative 0.15. And same thing with this, right? Negative 0.2. And now they are even. Right, so the spine, all that's good. The legs, right, same idea. Let's take the lower leg and move this down. Negative 0.2. So he goes down 0.2. And the upper leg go down -0.2. And let's make him a little longer, actually. Let's go 1.5. And copy and paste. Take away the negative. There we go. So now we have all these capsule colliders on here. Now we need those on the AI layer. No, limb. Oh no, AI layer, I'm right. And we're gonna need, I mean, practically everything. Everything with a collider anyways. With that, he needs to go on, we'll put him on the character. Nope, this object only. And if we look at an FSM, the FSM needs to be called health. It needs to have a integer called multiply. Did I call it multiplier or multiply? I think it was multiply. And I'm going to put it in the input. And I'm just going to copy that and stuff it on all of these. Paste as new. And those two. And that guy. Paste as new. And that's probably it. Right? So that we can now turn around and be like, okay, if you get a headshot, it's a 5. You know, if you hit him in the leg, it's a 1. Lower leg point. Oh yeah, I can't do points. We're using floats. Alright, so let's go 1, 2. Let's take this up to like an 8. And 1, 2. 1, 2. Let's take the chest to like a 4. Okay. There we have. Now these things all have multiply. So I said multiply. So I got to double check the player just to make sure. All right. So here, what did we call it? Multiply. Perfect. All right. Now the zombie has health. He gets damage. He gets get event int data. So just like the players, right? And int subtract. You know, here is, oops, we need a new variable called health on this guy. We're going to subtract the damage. And health, well, say it's, no, I don't know, 60. Put that over here. So let's just watch that for a quick second and let's shoot them and see what happens. Make sure we have our blood, right? Line up that. See that? We did 9 damage. We got a bit of blood. 44. Let's shoot him in the chest. Oh, that was a big hit. And if we shoot him in the head, super big hit. And he will have died at that point in time. Alright, so that's working just fine. So what does this thing do? We need, just like the player one, int compare. And we're going to do health is equal is dead less dead and alive. Pretty simple. Dead and alive. So if we're dead, what do we want to do? We need to make an animator. So where is our spawner for AI? Okay, let's create a animator. So this is going to be our zombie AI. Zombie AI, you can have that guy. And that guy needs stuff. If I wasn't so handy, there we go. So what are we going to have? We're going to have triggers, dead, trigger hurt, trigger attack, and float speed. Can do a bit of randomization with the attack. We'll look at that after. So we're going to have a blend tree. That's going to be his move. We are going to have a hurt state. So let's look at, pretty sure I got a pile of zombie animations. Walk, hit left. Idles, walk forward. Do we have any just hit animations? Chompers, fist hit. I think that's doing the hit. Get hit from front. That's probably fine. Oh, that's even better. Let's do that one. Hit big front. Hit small front. You could also bring those in too. You can do all sorts of different little things with this. Right now, I'm just worried about getting it functional. So I'm going to come from the any state, and we're going to do hurt. And more importantly, I want this to be very, very, very snappy. So that's coming down. And I'm going to take away can transition for himself. All right. So zombie health. If we are alive, we need to set trigger hurt. Pretty simple so far. I mean, there's going to be more in there because you know, like seeing the player and stuff. If it's dead, it's going to be the same thing obviously, but now it's going to be dead. The other thing we're going to want to do is enable FSM. We want this FSM to be turned off because we don't want this to trigger anymore. Right, so dead. So what do we have for that? Let's see. We have dead. That's probably that's a little crazy. That's also a little crazy. So let's see what we have in here. And other animations, we should have. There we go. Let's walk idle. Oh, there is no dead animation. Alright, I would die. Okay, a little excessive, but whatever. It will work for what we want. And same idea, we can't transition to self. It's going to be snappy, and it's going to use the trigger dead. Right? Pretty simple. And I guess while we're at it, there's numerous things you can do with the blend tree. FYI. And we can do some sort of attack. Oh, there's like an actual zombie death right there. Let's put that one in. That one could also be good. Idle, run in place. Walk. Okay, so here we have a couple different styles. So what we could do is actually get rid of this and let's bring in an idle. Right, let's go there and idle. We could have a integer. We'll call this style. And let's do a walk one, and a run. Right, so if we're going to transition to all three of them, and this is if style equals 0 and speed greater, and we'll say 0.5. And if speed isn't greater, speed is less than 0.5, go here. All right, so exit time off, and this thing will be the exact same way. Exit time off, speed greater than 0.5, 0.5, and style is equal to 1. And this one is speed less than 0.5. Turn exit time off. Speed greater than 0.5 and style equals 2. 0, 1, 2. And we come back. Time off. Speed less than 0.5. So now we have 3 different styles of walking for our one zombie here, right? And that could just be as simple as, well, I don't think you normally put it in your health, but whatever. Actually, yeah, I'm not even going to worry about it right now. So let's just see how that looks. All right, we'll come along. And there we go. He's taking damage and he dies. And this needs to be as the default state. And it's not that one. That was kind of weird to see in the beginning. Alright, so the other thing this guy's going to need is a Nav Mesh Agent. And this is why we're going to use root motion. Speed 0.01. Or even less. Like virtually nothing. It's got to be something. Can't be 0. But very little. Now you notice if I use root motion, I don't have turns. Now you could code that in, right? You can say, you know, hey, let's, you know, smooth look at kind of idea. And that might be something we want to look at to boost. But I'm going to use an angular speed of like super high. Stopping distance of 1.5. Right? Bring this down just a little, and now we have this guy. So this guy, let's do AI brain. All right, so he has a brain. Let's save that. So what we have is a player, and I don't think we get our player, but you know what does get our player? Our spawn manager. Our spawn manager gets our player. All right, he finds it. And the spawn manager also happens to be a global variable. So we're going to abuse that, right? And we're going to do the same idea. We're going to get FSM game object, assuming this is only a one player style of game. From the globals, our spawn, right? The spawn manager has a thing called manager and has a variable named player. Well, now we have player. If the manager has it, so do we. And then we want to make sure to do our check. Object null and player if it's null and not null. That's all right. You know, and this way we're not having, you know, a million things use the find command, because find command can be pretty freaking expensive. Right, so we're only going to let one thing use the find command, and everything else is just going to steal its variable. Oh, that's the wrong one. And if it's not null, then now we can do stuff. Right, so we hit play, and he should go over to, let's go over to the AI. Right, so he has the player. So the AI knows who the player is. Now we could very easily, for simplicity's sake, is have a site object, and we'll put that roughly around head height. All right, you can even bring it out a little bit. So this site object is what we want to do is we want to look. Actually, you know what? Let's get distance. Get distance. Get distance or get distance to, really doesn't matter. None to the player. All right, so distance to player. And now, I'm actually going to finish that because I've had issues with that one before. Float compare. You know, let's say, okay, is the distance less than, we'll say 25. If it's less, we are near the player. If it's greater, we're not near the player. All right, and if it's not near the player, let's just do a wait. For, I don't know, 1 second's probably fine. Really, I mean, if we're more than 25 meters away. Right, and then let's go back up and check on the null. If it's null, then we'll refine the player again. If not, let's get the distance again. But if we are near the player, what do we want to do? We want to get angle. Get angle to target. So ourselves, target to the player, ignore height, and angle to player. And again, I'm going to finish that just to make sure I want these to do good. So this is a distance check. This is an angle check. And now we're going to float compare. the angle to player. And if we are 60, if we're less, you know, we are looking at general direction. If it's greater, we're not looking in general direction. So now we're looking, we'll use that. So if we're not looking, then we might as well just go back and redo the whole thing. But if we're looking, now we can do some other stuff, right? And I'll show you. So, okay, right now, the player, let's turn, don't worry about those errors. In fact, you might not even have those. I think I went in there, did a custom part of that script a while back. I didn't really change much, but ever since then I got errors. Not worried about it, it's not going to hurt me. So anyways, we have AI. If I can actually get to my AI, we have the brain. And we can see, okay, we are passing the distance check. No doubt, we're close. The angle check, we're not passing, right? No kidding. We're almost directly behind them. We're at 180 degrees. Now, if I take the AI and slowly turn them, you can see like everything's slowly coming in line. And we hit that 60 mark, and he's now over here. All right, now that doesn't mean that we can see the player yet. So what we want to do is do a look at. I am going to have our site keep vertical. I'm going to keep as true, and the target object is going to be the player. Up vector, sure, we'll put that in. Not every frame. And then I'm going to raycast. And this raycast, move to the bottom, because we want to make sure it's after. We want to, oh, I meant to do raycast 2. Raycast 2. So in the raycast, we're going to raycast from the site, direction forward, space self, distance, really doesn't need to be that far. I mean, we have a distance check of, what do we have? 25. So really, 26. You know, now we should get a hit, might not. But we're going to have a layer mask. We're going to have 2. We want to be able to hit the ground. And we want to be able to hit the player. Right? You might want to add a few more things into there, but we will check. So we have hit and no hit. I mean, we should be hitting. The no hit's almost more of a safety net at this point in time. We know we're within the range of the player, and we're shooting a ray directly at the player. So we're going to hit something. So we hit. So now we need to get, let's say get the tag. Get the tag of, I don't think I stored it, hit object. Actually, you know what? We don't even need to do that. We could just do game object compare. Game object compare. You know, is our hit object equal to the player object? Can see player. Can't see player. Right, and if we can't see, we're just going to go all the way back. And if we can see, well, we're going to have to do something else. Now this will allow us, right, we're going to make some terrain. This terrain, we're going to use our grounding, and let's say he is 5 by 5, he's sitting over here. Make sure he's blocking the player. And if I hit play now, and we take our zombie and I go to the brain, right, we're not looking at his direction. You know, we turn it. We are looking at the player, right? We are within angle, but we still can't see the player because our ray is hitting the wall, right? So the player is totally safe. Like we're in a building, or whatever the case may be. We're behind something. But we move that, and now we can see the player, right? So that's kind of how that works. Let's get rid of the cube. Right, so now we need something to happen here, right? So let's do another FSM, and let's do an action, AI action. So if how do we want to do this? Let's do it by bool. Has target. Right? So then over here we can set FSM bool in our AI action. Has target to true. So here we can do a bool test, right? Has target. So if it's true, let's attack. If it's false, let's just wander. Just a very simple attack and wander AI, right? He's a zombie. He's not going to do crazy amounts of things. So wander is get position of ourselves, vector 3 add XYZ. We also need some random floats. Say 2 of those. So let's go, I don't know, -20, 20, call that X. -20, 20, call that Z. And take our position, add X, add Z. Move this one to the top. We've got to do things in order here. And then sample position. We just can't move to a random position if that position may not be on the nav mesh. So we're going to sample our position now that we've modified it. And nearest point found is move to. Right, and nearest point found has point redo. So if it's a redo, let's wait, a half a second and try again. That shouldn't happen, but you never know. Best to be on the safe side. So if we has point, now let's Nav Mesh Agent move to. No, let's do an agent set destination. And if you don't have these actions, you can get them on the ecosystem. I'll even show you. Set destination. There we go. Set destination to our position, which is of course modified. But yeah, if you don't have these actions, go to the ecosystem. Look up pathfinding. That is what Unity uses. and what playmaker uses. It's what everyone uses. Why is that not finding anything? Maybe it's down. All right. Well, normally that works, and you'd have a path finding, and you download, and you get all piles of actions. So now we want to get position. Actually, you know what? Let's do this in another state. Let's get position. Let's call it our current position. We want it different, and we're going to do this one every frame. Vector 3 operator. So we're going to take our position and our current position, and we want a distance. Every frame, there we have distance, and then we're going to do a float compare. Keep in mind, when you're comparing the distance, your AI has that stopping distance, right? So I'm going to use 3.1. Every frame, if we are less, get new, right? And if that's the case, you might want to, let's do a random, send random event, right? And maybe we'll have 2 of these. Let's do an idle and and a move, right? And move is, let's go back up here. Actually, I guess he can go right to here. But idle, let's come down and do a random wait. Maybe, I don't know, 6 to 12 seconds. Finish, and then go. Right, so maybe he'll just stop and kind of hang out in one spot for a minute, or not a minute, a little bit. Right, so now we have this. Now, we also want to be checking this, because as we're moving, and this one needs to be every frame, but we don't have the wander anymore, it's just the attack. We're going to go here. And if we are here, same idea. Let's stop that wait and go here. That should be all we need. Right, so now he has root motion on, right? And we just set a destination. So we need another FSM. Get agent velocity, desired velocity. Well, see, we're going to get a super small velocity from this. So let's do, well, you know what, screw it, let's try it. Let's see what the velocity magnitude is. Let's hit play. Yeah, so super tiny, right? Because he's coming from this speed. All right, maybe we'll up that a tiny bit. All right, it's 0.1, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Right, so we're gonna get the velocity now. It's gonna be a tiny number. So let's float multiply. Let's take magnitude, multiply it by 10 or 100. set Animator float, Animator float. Move to the bottom and speed value meg every frame. We don't need a damp time, we're not blending it. There we have. Now he is moving along. He's sitting a little high. We got to fix that. Right. The easiest way to fix that is just go like -0.1. Maybe a little more on this guy. It's going to be because of that animation. But there he has, now he's moving. He wants to do his little wander, do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. Right? Distance. His distance is, so he is not turning, not well at all. He is just moving away. So he is not doing well in that aspect. Alright, so let's get steering, target, every frame, steer, and I guess we'll just do the smooth look at trick. Kind of makes me want to. That is a vector. Don't do that one. Do the smooth look at direction. Five is probably fine. Let's see what he does with that. Distance is there. Why is his distance going farther? Current position, our position. You know what? This shouldn't be our position. We should actually be using. Oh no, because we have here. What is it? What did we use? The move to. Oh, you know, Lord Tundering. I thought that was. This is. I meant to have this guy as a vector. That's what I screwed up on. Alright, that makes more sense. Position is the move to. Not the bool. Don't use the bool, we want the position. Because now, there we go. Move to, there we go. So now we can do the move to and our curve, get distance. That makes more sense. Right. So now he's actually moving towards his target that he found. We gotta fix that base offset. His speed is horrendously slow. Let's speed him up just because that's annoying. Oh, he's gone by it. Where is his direction? He is not looking at his steering target. That's his problem. All right, let's rethink that a bit. So let's do, maybe we should just do is walking true instead of the speed. That might be a little easier. Alright, because now we're going here. Right, so if we get in here, Animator, change speed, bool is moving. Alter speed to is moving, and is moving. And of course, this guy is moving false. Is moving false. Is moving false. Back and forth just on the bool. That will make this a little easier. So now, which also means I don't technically need this. I can now put that at 0. So let's not get the velocity. Actually, we don't even really need much of that at all, because now we can just do it in here. All right, because now, if we're moving to a destination, set Animator bool is moving to true. Copy. If we are in this state, it's false. And over here, things are going to change, obviously. Now, let's get over here. And let's get Animator bool is moving. Every frame, bool test is moving every frame. If true, do the look at. And I'm just going to copy this guy, paste him over here. Ba-doop, ba-doop. And okay, well, let's call this something else. Let's say on false, stop look. There we go. Let's use that one, just so we're a little more clear. All right, so if we're looking, let's smooth look at direction. So we need a direction, right? So we need to get steering target every frame. And now that should work. Keep vertical. Right. He is moving. And why is he being stupid? I'd like to know why my distance check. Okay, where's he going? Here, let's check. Let's do a small debug here. I'm going to create a sphere, and I am going to set position of the sphere to move to world. That'll tell us kind of where this guy's supposed to be looking at, right? So the sphere is over here. He's going over there, so he's obviously not spinning and looking, right? This whole thing, that's not happening for some reason. Steering target is for whatever. Usually a steering target's really good. Alright, so oh, mind you, steering target's not a frickin' direction though. Steering target is, oh, that's me screwing shit up. Okay, so steering target is a position, right? And this is a direction. Two different things. So steering target, we would need to get forward every frame and vector 3 operator. That's what we need. We want to put that in between and the forward. Oh, wait, no, not our forward. We want to get our position. Get position. Our position every frame. We get the steering target. We take our position. We take the steering target. Actually, it should be the steering target first. Then our position. We subtract them. And we get a direction. Now that we get a direction, we can look at the direction. And we don't need this. That should fix things up. Right, so now there's our sphere here. Now its pathing is going to be a little iffy because of that. So let's take a look. It's getting closer. It's getting farther, which makes sense. He's got to go around the tree. He's coming around the tree. He has found his path. He likes it. He's moving in for the kill. He wants a new position. Except for the fact he can now see the player. The player screwed us up. You a-hole player. Damn player screwing stuff up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There goes our zombie now. Where is our sphere now? Our sphere is way the hell up there. So let's go into this guy and just take this guy up. And because I touched it, we screwed it up. So put it back on. Alright, so he's going to find a path, which is probably going to be, I'd imagine, oh yeah, you can see the path here. Red line, he's coming this way. He's moving in, he's getting there. He's found it, he wants to get there. He wants to kill this sphere. Oh, he's doing an idle, so he stopped. He's hanging out. He's just doing a zombie thing. He doesn't know what to do. He's just like, hey, what's up? Oh, he's like, screw it. Let's go for a walk. Let's go over here. He's walking this way. He's after that sphere. He hates that sphere. He really wants to kill that sphere. And he's like, how am I going to get there? He's got to walk all the way around all these trees. It's like, oh my gosh. So you know what? That works. But you know what? I don't like this nav mesh. That's way too excessive. If you want to fix that, let's do agent width is going to be 0.3, I think we said. 0.3, yeah. Height 1.8. Step height, that's fine. We can put in some jump distances. I'm not going to put jump distances in on this because it would increase bake time dramatically. Maybe I'll do it later on down the road for another AI tutorial where they can be jumping stuff. But that should narrow these things down, making life a little easier for our zombie instead of having to walk crazily around all this stuff. Okay, in the meantime, while that's baking, let's come over here and say, alright, we need to attack our player. Set agent destination as game object. We know we can see the player, and get FSM game object. Oh, wait, no, I think we have a game. Oh no, it's from, we're getting it from up here, right? Because the brain has the player. So we're going to go player. We're moving towards the player. Now we want to attack, right? So we want to get distance. I'll use get distance 2. It's a little more useful for cases like this. So not use those, but ourselves to target player. And there we have a distance. We'll reuse that variable. Float compare. And put that down below. Move to the bottom. Distance. If it is 2, can be careful because we have these things to worry about, right? These stopping distances. So just to be on the safe side, I can go 2.1. Now, if we're less than that, do an attack. Bam, just like that. Now, when we do that, set animator bool. Actually, you know what? We're using root motion, so we don't have to worry about that. So we're gonna attack. So, well, we do need the trigger though. Set animator trigger to attack. Let's put a weight in, maybe a random weight, something like 2 to 3. Finish, and let's just keep chasing and attacking. Right now, there's going to be another thing that we need to do, which is this guy. So let's actually go up here. Right now, as we're in here, you got to think, we have to be able to lose the zombie. So we're going to also be testing it here. Paste action before, and let's wander. Move that to the bottom. let's wander. So if we're going to wander, we're going to go back over here. Right, and there, now we have, we don't have an attack yet, do we? No, we don't. Zombie. We should have some sort of a zombie walk forward. All sorts of zombie forwards. That's a zombie forward. That's like pretty much the same zombie forward. Well, I'm guessing I know what that's going to look like. Alright, let's look at zombie. No. Oh wait, what was this one? I don't kind of like that one. What do we have? Those are all punching, strong attacks. That's all crappy. Hit. Alright, let's use these. I'm going to bring them both in, but I'm only going to put one on for now. Alright, so we're going to have, we'll use the hit left, come down here, using that state, and it needs an attack. There we go. Alright, so let's save. I'll maximize this. Now, obviously, he can't damage us yet. We haven't put that part in yet. Oh, we gotta put him down. We still gotta do that thing. Right, so he hasn't noticed us. He doesn't like us now, and now he's coming after us. And he wants to hit us now. But, oh, okay, yeah, we do need to change that. So he stopped. Alright, so let's go into this guy and AI action. Action, reaction. Let's take rid of that. We don't need that anymore. Let's do animator moving. Copy. If we're attacking, we can put it there. So we finish. We go here. Attack. We should put it in here to make sure that we are running, so value is true. And what else do we want to do? What else do we want to do? Base offset -0.2. So on the attack, right here we have like the looking. All right, let's make another FSM, call it attack, and let's do a event called attack. There we go. Let's go into the animator and go to this guy, zombie hit left. Events. Right about there. Send event. Attack. Right, you can put multiple events in these. So you would normally do them both. Now, when you do both of them, what you could do is you could have another integer here. I don't know if I'm going to bother putting it in. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. Right, so here we have attack, but we now could do random attack equals 0. And then you can do one here. Move this one over here, keep it kind of clean, hopefully. Right, obviously that's there. This needs to come down. Well, no, we can put that up a little bit. Attack and random attack equals 1. Now we have a different thing there, right? So now here, you know, when we do this, let's do random int, select random int maybe. We only got 2 of them, I guess. We have 0, we have 1, you know, 0.5, store as attack value. Set animator int. Take that down. This is going to go below that. And random attack to attack value. And the rest of that's fine. Right now, of course, now I don't have this thing here, so we're going to put that in here. So we have hit left, hit right, right? So obviously that same event, right? Let's click on that one now. So same idea. Ba-doop. Send event. Attack, right? Just like that. Now the zombie can attack. So we're going to get this event. So the way I like to do this, let's just get FSM game object from our AI action, the player. Let's get distance to. I don't like to use colliders and stuff on my AI for attacking. I find it be way too unreliable. So let's get distance, get angle. Owner to player. Nowhere height. Angle. Alright, let's just end that. Now, we can do float compare. So is our angle, we'll say less than 30. Can hit. If it's greater, can't hit. Right? Can hit, can't hit. Can't hit can go over there, this can go over here. Now here we can do another float compare. Actually, you know what? Let's just copy this whole thing. There we go. Get rid of this one. And this one's not angle, this one will be distance. Okay, is our distance still on, say 2.5, we'll extend it out. So for less we can hit, or we can't hit. If we can hit, then you know we've hit. We're facing the player, we're attacking the player, we've done a swing. Let's do a random int set event int data send event. There we go. Obviously not in that order, so random, let's go, I don't know, 5 and 10 maybe. Call that damage. Move that to the top. We're going to set the int data with damage, send event to the player who has an FSM name health with an event called damage, just like the AI. That's it. Alright, so let's save and test. Oh, that 0.2 I guess was too far. Alright, so he's now chasing us. It looks like an old lady sprinting. Why are you looking at me so funny? Ow. Hey ho. Right? See, if I move around, if I'm out of that angle, he has that weight. Oh. I think he has that weight. Nope, not that. AI action. Yeah, he does have that weight. Why is that not triggering every time? All right. So, let's put this into. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's put this down here. Let's move that right out. We attack. Is moving. Right, random weight. Let's bring that down. That was obviously way too long. And I almost want him to kind of be looking at him. Smooth look at. I mean, he should be looking, because this guy... Right, that should be, I mean, that should be doing it anyways. I shouldn't need to have it in here. I really, really shouldn't. Right, so... Oh, this time he's going straight at us. This time he's not happy with us. He's just like, screw you, I'm coming to kill you. I don't like how, yeah, see, I gotta rotate him better than that. You know what? This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do to fix that. We are gonna go to this and we are going to flow compare. So distance is the attack. And that's where some of the issue is. Smooth look at. Right, he should be looking at the player and the finish tolerance, which this is just an angle, right? Use the same event, attack. Right now, that also means we need to get the distance and float compare. Copy and paste. Because if the distance gets too far, I think we'll say 2.2. If it goes greater, we need to be re-chasing. We can't just stand there. Right. And then I almost kind of want to do a smooth look at right in here. Move to the top. Make it slow though. See, I almost think having that in here, I think would be a better choice, right? Because you could do it here too, right? Like you could have it. Because right here we have our position, our current position, and we could easily just get steering right here. Move to the top. No, yeah, we can put it somewhere right here. And vector 3 operator. And kind of what we did with the other side there in the animator, just kind of move that here, right? So our current position and steer, of course I did the exact same thing as I did last time. Steer subtract is now our direction. Every frame, smooth look at direction. Make sure to put that at the bottom. So, direction. Keep vertical, yes. Weight update. Speed 1's fine. Magnitude 0. Up vector, sure. We'll give it that. Right, and then we can kind of just get rid of this. And that should be a little more flexible for us. Shot you. Boo, shot you again. Right, because now he has... Apparently he's gone blind. So we probably need a smooth look at there. Yes, we do. Yes, we do for how we have it. So, right, because he wants to move towards the player. So he's in this state, he's trying to move towards. It only makes sense that he's going to need a smooth look at. Copy. And paste before this one, so he's kind of sitting in there. That should be better. Come over here. Oh, see, he sees us. Now he's actually focusing in on us. He comes in and he attacks, he hits us. Now he's actually watching us though. Oh, you know what? But he is not going to remove, so let's take a look. Alright, because now he's here. Oh, he doesn't want to finish. So he took away the finish tolerance because he's attack. Speed 3. Oh, okay. Well, let's give this guy a finish. No, we can't give him a finish. Attack, but we can. You know what? He doesn't. No, we're going to get rid of the smooth look at all completely there. He's got it here now. He's looking. We know we're there. He does the attack. We can do it on this side if we want to. Right? He doesn't need a finish event because he's going to be going up here anyways. Right, and over here we're telling him to is moving. Right, so okay, where is moving. we're at a good distance here. Copy, paste before is not moving. Which he also gets that here, doesn't really need it here now. So we'll put it up here. Alright, that should be better. I'm going to fix this before I drive myself nuts. Wow, that was kind of vicious, attacking me twice like that, you a-hole. Not seeing that other swing though. Alright, so so far so good. Right, we still need to fix something up here so he can lose sight. How long has this video been going on? Oh my god, it's like 2 hours. We have an attack. And we have that. 0, 1. Check the animator. Apparently I never put that in. Attack equals 0. This one has nothing, so you know that would be cool if we would did that. And random attack equals 1. There, that should fix that up. At least that's an easy fix. So the other thing is we have that style, right? So let's fix that. I'm also going to bring this guy back down to a 2 at least. And in the brain, let's random int. You know, we'll just give it a even chance along. Oh, okay, 0, 1, 2, 0.33, 0.33, 0.33, store as the style, set animator int, move to the bottom, style as style. Now, I think that should be fine. Oh my god, he's running now all of a sudden. Oh, that one's got some issues. Did I not link that backwards? Oh, did I put that? Ew. That's why that whole thing got all messed up. I put this stuff on the wrong side. Of course it has exit time. There we go. That'll solve all that. And see how he had this, and then after we hit him he ran because he came back in here. So I'm just going to put this in here because we have is moving as false, right? So it's equal to 0. I'm also going to add style is not equal to 0, right? This one's supposed to be 1. Actually, you know what? Let's not put it there. Let's put it in another line. Right, so you have two of them. So here, style not equal 0. Did no. Transition there. Go here. Style not equal 1. Because he is 1, right? Yeah, 1. This one's 2. Transition there. Go there. Take that off. Style not equal 2. Okay, so now we have random stuff. We only need 2 more things, and that is if we get hurt here, set, you know what? Okay, so here we have all this stuff happening, and in the end we can turn this on. So all this is going to do is set FSM bool action has target to true. Oh, whoops, that's supposed to be under this guy. And the other thing we need now is brain. So if we're here and if we can't see the player anymore, but we have seen the player, right? What do we need to do? Well, I think what I'll do is I'm going to copy, paste, and finish and go to, actually, you know what? Let's do a wait here, actually. Wait. We'll say 8 seconds. Even 8 might be a little long. 6 seconds. You can go a lot longer. We'll look at, and if we break cast, and if we don't care about the hit, no, of course we're gonna have the hit event. If we hit, no, we don't want that either. We want our own compare. All right, no hit. So you know what? I don't even want the no hit. Well, whatever. We'll use it anyways. Right, so we're going to compare. I'm going to bring them both down because screw it. So if we can see the player, then I don't know, we'll just go back here. But if we can't see the player after, and this is after 8 seconds, do we at this point in time say, you know what? But the thing is, you have 8 seconds, so you have this whole window, or 6 seconds, you have this whole window, right? Like, you could almost bring this down and say 4, and think of it intervals. Now, if you can't see the player, what if instead we do int subtract? Right, this is going to be, we'll say memory, subtract 1, and then int compare. Memory, if it's 0, go wander. If it's greater, go back and cycle this again. Right, so cycle and go wander. Cycle, go up here. Go wander is back there. See if we're null. Right, so here, as we come through, we're going to subtract 1 and compare. But what the hell is memory? Right, so here, ultimately, when we come into here, when we're coming in for the first time, right, we can see the player. As long as we can see the player, set int. You know, maybe we'll put that to 5. And maybe we'll bring this down to 3. Right, because now we try to look for the player. If we can see him, then okay, we have a player. We have a memory again. Just go and keep going, right? Whatever, it's not going to end. But if we go through and now we can't see, okay, subtract the memory, we cycle, we do our wait, we look at it, oh, we still can't see it, we subtract another one. Eventually that memory is going to hit 0 until we actually see the player. Now at this point in time, when we go to wander, there is one more thing we need to do, and that's this. Right? We don't have a target anymore. It's gone. All gone. Right? And now, because every time we come up here, we're testing it. Do we have a target? And if not, we're going to go back to our wander. So there is now our zombie. So overall, probably be one of the more simplistic AIs that we have. Really, he just comes at us and attacks. And he hits us and he does his little damage. And we can shoot him back. And we can kill him. Oh, we have to stop that portion. He's spinning, we don't want him to spin. That's, you know, quite easy to do, right? Because when he dies, right now we're disabling the FSM for that. We also just, let's take off, you know, attack. Let's take off action. And let's take off the brain. And more importantly, let's put the health at the end of that because it's the one doing all this work. And that'll stop that. And what else can we add in real quick before we wrap this up? Let's prefab him. Oh, we should test to make sure that we can shoot him and he comes after us. How about that? So let's prefab him, delete him, and go to our spawn manager. There we go. Where is our zombie? Zombie. You know what? This is going to drive me nuts if I don't do something with that. Turn that back on. Right, so there he is. So now if I shoot him, see, he can see me now. He's coming right after me. You notice how there's different AIs having different walking? See how he uses his other hand there? So that's all working now too. Ah, leave me alone. Well, I guess it was, so he died. Something screwed with him. Like, this grass is so long, it's crazy. But yeah, overall, we have some zombie AI in our world spawning. Now, important part is if we look at our zombies, like they're all dying, right? Like we're killing these things until we move around. So really important is on the zombie, and this kind of goes with our spawning manager, is if we're gonna die, we should add some sort of thing here. Remove. Unless, you know what? Let's run it on the disable. How about? On disable, we have array list remove get owner. Actually, no, not on disable. We won't do that. Yeah, we'll just use our remove. That's probably good enough. Let's wait. I don't know, say 10 seconds. And then we're gonna array list move. Let's get owner. Self from the spawn. And I totally forget what we called it. So let's bring him over here. Spawned. Alright, so this guy, population remove. Type game object self, and we are dead. Send event from our health, game object, population remove, move to the top. Alright, now this thing will fire up. It will remove after. Save. And delete him. Alright, let's check that real quick. Pretty much the final thing. So let's kill a zombie. He's dead. Where's the zombie we killed? Is this guy right here. That zombie clone. His health is off. This thing's running. And let's check out our spawn manager, which content showing 51. And you know what? Let's briefly put this real slow so we can see this. We want to make sure we see it, so we know it's working. So we're at 51. Oh, let's take that off. 50. See? He removed. Now he's 51 again, because now that he's been removed, we are going to, bring in more. Now, obviously, when he removes, we want to also destroy this object. Or in the case that you can also do a pooling system as well. There we have it. So there is our AI. Full AI will hunt and damage wander the player. Can see, you can have walls and stuff, and they'll wander and fight and die. And they have, body parts, right? Like there's no colliders on this main guy. They're all in the limbs, so you can snipe them or whatever the case may be. Definitely a long video. Sorry about that. It's over 2 hours. It's super long. But no, we built our little controller, but we built our AI. Full AI. The next one, I don't know what we'll do, but we'll figure another AI out. But I don't have to worry about the controller. I'll reuse the controller, that same kind of damage system, but we'll build a different AI. Alright, so we'll see you guys in the future.